At first, they love you for it. You're hungry, you're different, you're fighting the man. But at a certain point, every underdog hits the danger zone. Taylor Swift built her empire on being underestimated, but now she's just estimated. So what happens when the little guy becomes the big guy? When played right, the underdog is one of the most powerful brand strategies in the world. It's allowed people like Trump, Billie Eilish, Eminem, brands like Apple and Nike to dominate culture and create criminally loyal fan bases. But when played wrong, it can destroy you just as fast. So how do you keep the world rooting for you when you've already won? The answer to that question starts at 3 Privet Drive. In a cupboard under the stairs lives the underdog of all underdogs, Harry Potter. Mistreated, underestimated, downtrodden. In the beginning of the series, Harry Potter is powerless. He's fighting against enemies that want to hurt him personally. Vernon, Dudley, Malfoy, and we root for Harry because we want to see him win for his own sake. But as the series goes on, the dynamics change. He gains power, status, skill. Harry is no longer powerless in relation to Vernon. And with that shift, Harry's enemy changes too. Voldemort becomes not just a threat to Harry, but to the entire wizarding world, to freedom, peace, belonging, and safety. Harry is bigger, and his enemy is bigger too. No longer is he fighting to protect himself, but to protect everyone. Gaining power doesn't kill the underdog. The size of the enemy does. Harry's story arc was written so that no matter how powerful Harry himself becomes, he always stays the underdog because he's always fighting something that's bigger than himself. That is why we keep rooting for him. Now back to Taylor Swift. There is a tide turning on Taylor Swift right now.
The death of a showgirl, the life of a capitalist.
Promised to us as a return to form to Taylor Swift's pop bangers.
If you listen to the new Taylor Swift album with your ears, I think you're going to be happy. But if you listen with your brain, I think you're going to be confused.
Oh, I'm the victim. She was mean to me. He was mean to me. They were mean to me. Everyone's mean to me. I'm tired of that bullshit.
See, for her entire career, Taylor Swift has had an enemy, the cool girl. In branding, this is called the enemy effect. It's a brand psychology strategy that builds cult-like fans. And by the way, if you want to know what other strategies iconic brands are using to be magnetic to their fan bases, and check if you're using them in your own brand, I made a free magnetic brand audit tool for you that I'm going to leave in the description. But to understand why the enemy effect has worked so well for Taylor Swift, first you have to understand the law. Taylor Swift was bullied in school. She was made to feel different and weird. She said this in interviews.
The whole reason I started writing songs was because I'd be hearing people like, oh my God, this party we're going to is going to be so awesome on Friday. Everyone's invited except for her over there. You know?
She sung it in songs. Her message to her fans has always been, if you're someone who's been made to feel left out or othered, you belong here with me because I've been made to feel that way too. For her entire career up until this point, this enemy has always felt bigger than her. So she has been able to position herself as the underdog against it. This story of Taylor the victim has been drilled into her audiences again and again. Like when Katy Perry allegedly tried to sabotage her tour by hiring all her backup dancers, Taylor wrote Bad Blood, and her fans fist pumped the air. That was her standing up to her enemy, the cool girl. Or when Kanye said,
I'm really happy for you, I'm gonna let you finish.
Her fans empathized because that felt like the institution of the cool girl, cutting her off, stealing her moment, leaving her out. Every time she clapped back, her fans said hell yes. But Taylor's power has grown. The dynamics have changed. And right now, for the first time in her career, it no longer feels like she's smaller than her enemy, and fans are sensing this. That's why when she does something like make a diss track about Charli XCX, a smaller artist, or release more than 30 variants for her new album to game the charts and get the top spot, what used to feel like a booyah to her fans now feels like she is becoming the cool girl. Taylor Swift is now the biggest musician in the world, but she's fighting the fight of a much smaller one. As she has grown, her enemy hasn't, and that's starting to feel mean. So how can you maintain the underdog brand, even as the most powerful musician in the world? If I were on Taylor's team, call me if you want, I'd tell her this. Keep the same enemy, but evolve the fight. Stop fighting for yourself and start fighting for everyone. It's no longer personal, it's altruistic. When you stand up to something that threatens your audience, not your ego, your enemy once again becomes bigger than you. That is how you keep people rooting for you as an underdog, even when you're far from it. There are so many examples of people and brands successfully making this transition in culture, from the powerless underdog to the powerful underdog. For example, Nike started as the scrappy outsider brand, just fighting for its right to exist against other sports giants in the industry. But as they became the giant themselves, their fight became about empowering every athlete. from personal to altruistic. Eminem rose up in a tough neighborhood as the underestimated rapper, but as he got more rich and famous, his battles evolved beyond fighting for his own livelihood to giving a voice to the voiceless in society.
I know rappers will always get attacked by politicians though, so a lot of it was just to push buttons regardless.
And Trump is arguably one of the most powerful people in the world, but he will always be an underdog because just like Harry Potter, he is always pitting himself against an enemy that is bigger than him and convincing his audience that that enemy is threatening to all of them, like the deep state or the lamestream media.
It's frankly disgusting the way the press is able to write whatever they want to write.
This brand strategy has built some of the most cult-like fandoms in the world. But why does it actually work so well? What is it doing to our brains? And how can you use it to do the same? It's no coincidence that nearly every great movie is the story of an underdog. Rocky, Slumdog Millionaire, Hunger Games. In sports, we champion the team less likely to win. I mean, this goes all the way back to David and Goliath. And it's because we are wired to be emotionally aroused by what social psychologists call the underdog effect. To show you just how deep in our psyche this goes, in one study, participants watched animated clips of struggling and non-struggling geometric shapes. Literally just 2D circles rolling along a line. One of the circles would struggle to get over a hump, and the other circle would traverse it with ease. When the researchers asked participants which circle they were rooting for, people didn't say, "What do you mean rooting for? They're just little circles." They immediately said the one that looks like it's weaker and struggling. This is because when there is someone, or something in this case, facing unfair odds or fewer resources, it activates areas in our brain linked to fairness, empathy, and emotional regulation. Interestingly, studies done by Harvard show that the stronger a person's own sense of struggling is, the greater their preference for the underdog brand. So if you face more hardship yourself, you're more likely to be susceptible to this narrative. And the underdog effect isn't only compelling for audiences, it can actually enhance the performance and motivation of the underdog themselves. For brands, it's been shown to increase the bottom line. You see, it pays to be the underdog. By now, you should be able to see that you don't need a billion-dollar brand to be able to make people root for you. The underdog effect isn't just for Nike or for Taylor Swift. It's something that anyone can build. If you learn how to fight the right fight, it will make people feel more emotionally connected to you, more loyal to you. It will make people root for you. But there are a few caveats. Being the underdog is not about being the victim. It's about determination in the face of authentic odds. Also, not everyone is suitable for underdog branding. Luxury brands like Rolex thrive on power and dominance. That's their whole appeal. You wouldn't want your local hospital to position themselves as an underdog. I don't want the underdog taking my tonsils out.
I am a surgeon!
But if you do feel that you have passion, determination, and that you come from some kind of disadvantaged position, you may benefit from the underdog brand. So how do you do it? Step number 1 is to choose the right enemy. Not every fight deserves your name on it. Pick an enemy that represents something real to you, real to your audience. Don't just choose your haters as an enemy, for example. The enemy should be ideological. If you want to know exactly the steps involved in choosing your enemy, I made another video about this, which I'm going to put here somewhere. Step 2 is to build your brand around that enemy. Let that enemy live in your brand. Seed it through your visuals, your message, your product, your offers. Make your audience feel the tension between what exists and what should exist. Step number 3 is monitor your power constantly in relation to your enemy. The moment you outgrow your enemy, evolve. You want to turn Vernon into Voldemort. Stop fighting for your ego and start fighting for the world that your audience wants to belong to. That's how Nike, Eminem, Harry Potter, and potentially Taylor Swift can maintain her underdog status by upgrading her enemy as she upgrades. All you have to do is make the battle constantly bigger than yourself. You can have people rooting for you like the underdog forever, even when you're at the top, so long as you choose the right fight. And if you want more brand psychology strategies that are used by some of the biggest brands and people in the world, I'm going to leave details on how you can do that in the description. Okay, bye.